period of the history of our nation. And Europe has a lot to do with it. Our aspirations to become a member of EU, our reforms towards that have a lot to do with the current bright status of Turkey. The people who are on the streets of Egypt, Syria, Tunisia, Syria, all these countries in North Africa, Mediterranean and Middle East are not demonstrating against Israel, which was always the case in those countries. But right now they're demonstrating for democracy, human rights, better living standards. What they're actually demonstrating for is they want to be like Turkey. So Turkey has been their source of inspiration, because they're looking at Turkey and they're saying, these guys are very much like us. They have similar values, similar history, but they've done it. They have elections, they have unions, they have better living standards, they have enhanced economies, they have a free market economy, they have higher per capita income, they take care of each other. How come we cannot have the same? So Turkey has been their most important source of inspiration. But why is Turkey different compared to those countries? It's because Turkey is trying to become a part of the Western club. Turkey is trying to become a part of Europe. Turkey has conducted the reforms that they are so much aching for, aiming for. And when our allies in Europe are in a way claiming that they support the demands for democracy and reform in the Middle East, but on the other hand are trying their best to block the reform process in Turkey, which is the EU process, they're actually creating a hypocrisy. I think it's time for Europe to wake up and smell the coffee.
I see. So the more Turkey reaches European Union, the more it will appeal to the people and governments of the Middle East.
Exactly.
But you were talking about the kind of balance that Turkey wanted to keep with respect to South, East, West and North. But what about Israel? Is Turkey trying to keep a kind of balance towards Israel as well? What do you think about Turkish-Israeli relations in the last, I don't know, few years?
Well, let's be very clear on that. Turkey is the first Muslim country ever to recognize the sovereignty of Israel. Turkey has convinced many other Muslim nations around the globe to do the same and recognize Israel and establish diplomatic relations. Turkey enjoyed very good economic cooperation, military cooperation with Israel, because we were the only two democracies in this very volatile part of the world. But what has happened in the recent years has nothing to do with the Israeli people or Israeli culture or Jewish culture at all. But unfortunately, we have a Liberman mentality which has been fueled by hatred and unfortunately has not served the interests of Israeli people. Turkey went through very dramatic periods where 9 Turkish citizens were executed in international waters aboard a ship which was carrying humanitarian assistance material. That ship had not even entered the Israeli territorial waters. No country has the right to conduct a military operation towards civilian people, armless people, with their soldiers and kill 9 individuals. Most of those 9 people who were killed were shot by bullets that were fired within 20 centimeters, which is a clear indication that these were execution shots, not accidental shots, not fired by accidents or by random, but they had the intention to kill those people. And what did Turkey say? What did Turkey demand? Turkey demanded an apology. All we ask for is an apology and compensation to the families of those 9 innocent individuals. And the Israeli foreign minister and the defense minister and the prime minister stood behind their soldiers who executed these innocent people, and they refused. Well, Turkish-Israeli relations, I hope, will be normalized. But in order for them to be normalized, Israel has to recognize that they did a mistake by killing those individuals, especially in international waters. If that ship had entered Israel territorial waters, they could claim self-defense. They could claim this or that. But hijackers, pirates, do that kind of actions. Israel had no right. And right now, they need to apologize. What they did was wrong.
So some observers argue that zero problem policy of Turkey becomes zero tolerance with regard to Israel. Is that so?
No, if there was zero tolerance, we would have restricted trade with Israel. As a matter of fact, in the last 1 year, when we had diplomatic difficulties, our bilateral trade with Israel has increased by 30%. Turkey has not stopped any economic or business cooperation with Israel. And this shows we have nothing against the people of Israel. I myself attended the memorial services in Auschwitz this past winter, representing my government, my people. If I had any questions, any suspicions about the Jewish people or the Israeli people, I would not have attended there along with 2 members of our parliament. Turkey probably had the highest representation in the Auschwitz memorial ceremonies this year compared to any other country, with 1 minister, 2 members of parliament. One of them was the chairman of the Committee for European Harmonization, and the other one was and is the elected Speaker of the Parliament of Europe, the Council of Europe Parliamentary Assembly, Mr. Çavuşoğlu, and Mr. Yakish, who joined me. So I think Israel has to recognize that we don't have anything against their people. We don't have anything against their sovereignty. We don't have anything against their democracy. But they have to understand that Turkey is not an emirate. Turkey is not a sultanate. This is a democracy where public opinion does matter. And my nation, my people, are angry, rightfully so, against what Israel has done, and all they need to do is apologize.
Another question that we have on our minds is Turkey's economy has shown an outstanding growth, especially when the crises in the Western economies are taken into account. However, the living standards of an ordinary Turkish citizen has not improved as much as the Turkish economy. Why do you think so? And what can be done to change this situation?
Well, I don't agree with the analysis that the ordinary citizen has not benefited. Maybe not as much as big business has, maybe not as much as the wealthier people have, but even the least income level part of our society has gained. I mean, I remember 10 years ago, there were hardly 1 television per household. Now we have a television set almost in every room, in every family. Now everyone uses a cell phone. Many people have 2. The fact that Turkey has the highest per capita cell phone usage in Europe is, I think, a very clear indication. The average income in Turkey 10 years ago was around $2,000. Now we are around $11,000, and we have a goal to reach $25,000 by year 2023, which will be the 100th anniversary of the proclamation of independence of modern Turkish Republic. Of course, when you have large economic growth, the first recipients of this prosperity are the ones who are stronger. And through time, it goes down and digested by the other parts of the society, and it comes to a solution, a position where even the least enhanced or the least opportunity groups take advantage. So it takes time for it to settle down to the society. But Turkey is on the right path. Between 1923, when Turkey was established as a modern republic, and 2002, when AK Party came to power, Turkish government had built 6,100 kilometers of roads. But in the last 9 years that my government has been in office, we have built an additional of 13,600 new kilometers of new roads and highways. 10 million Turkish citizens have enjoyed riding in an airplane for the first time in their life in the last 9 years.
We have an opposition here.
It's a bird. And we respect their freedom of speech as well. In 2002, the number of airplane tickets that were sold in Turkey was 8 million. In 2010, that number increased to 102 million. But we have a goal for year 2023 to make sure 350 million airplane tickets are sold, which means we are enhancing our living standards. Turkey used to be the 26th largest economy in the world. We're now the 16th largest economy of the world and the 6th largest in Europe. Within 10 years, we'll be among the top 3 in Europe. Turkey is on the right path. This is the right time and the right place to be. This is the time to buy low and sell high. So I'm asking all of our audience to invest in Turkey. If they want to double their investment in a short period of time, this is the country to be.
One last question. This is about post-election period. Will Turkey move towards a presidential system if Justice and Development Party wins the elections with a majority enough to make constitutional amendments on its own?
The Justice and Development Party, the AK Party, has always represented the feelings, aspirations of the nation. We have not taken orders from deep-rooted organizations or gangs, despite some opposition parties. We will listen to our people's expectations, demands. We will evaluate the pros and cons of presidential system and compare it to the pros and cons of parliamentary system. And then we will ask the people what they really want, and the expectations, the demands of the people will be realized as it has always been in the government of Justice and Development Party.
What other amendments should we expect then in line with the popular will?
Well, the popular will wants a constitution which embraces all people without any difference to their ethnicity, their belief, their ideology. And the constitution should not be like the prospectus of a medicine. The constitution should be a general document. Then we need laws and regulations that determine the daily issues. But the constitution should embrace everyone. And that's what we should be working on. And the presidential system is not something that we should discuss right after the elections. But first, I think we need to have a civilian constitution. The current constitution is the product of a military coup and still has a military spirit. So we need a constitution that has been written up by elected civilian representatives of the people, for the people, by the people. And that's what we intend to do right after June 12th.
But are you going to cooperate with NGOs, civil society, or will you just rely on
Of course we will. Of course we will.
in the
We
parliament?
already have started. I mean, even during the constitutional amendment reform process, we asked all the opposition parties and NGOs to contribute. Some NGOs did contribute, but the opposition parties, the CHP's leader of that time, Mr. Baykal, said, I want cameras during our meeting. And MHP said they would come and have tea and leave. But after the elections, we're hoping all opposition parties will come up with their proposals for how a constitution should be. And we should embrace these different amendments, different drafts in the parliament and come up with a constitution that is working for the people and written up by the elected civilian representatives of the people.
Mr. Minister, do you have a final message for our audience?
Well, they should understand that Turkey is going through a very important period, and the master plan of my government is to turn Turkey into a very strong economy, into a very transparent country right after the June 12th elections. I want our audience to tell their Turkish colleagues, those who vote, to vote for the right party, not to make a mistake, and after that, take advantages of this growth and stability in Turkey. Let growth continue, and our aim is year 2023 when Turkey will be a super country.
Mr. Minister, this brings us to the end of our discussion.